Let me ask you something. Have you ever ended a day feeling like you accomplished nothing meaningful? Maybe you keep telling yourself, tomorrow will be different, but then tomorrow looks exactly the same. That was me for a long time. I had no clear direction, no motivation, and honestly, no real sense of purpose. But here's what I eventually learned: it wasn't my mornings that needed fixing, it was my evenings. Think about it. The way you spend your night sets the stage for how you wake up and live the next day. If your evenings are filled with chaos, distractions, or habits that drain your energy, you'll always wake up feeling lost and unmotivated. But once I changed my nighttime routine, everything shifted. I discovered 8 powerful evening habits that helped me find clarity, focus, and a renewed sense of drive. And today, I want to share them with you. By the end of this video, you'll see how small changes tonight can completely transform your tomorrow. 1. Reflecting on the day. Most people go through their day on autopilot: wake up, go to work, deal with responsibilities, and collapse into bed. But strong evening routines start with reflection. Instead of just brushing off the day, I began asking myself simple questions. What went well today? What could I have done better? Did I move closer to my goals? This small habit helped me become more aware of how I was living. It made me realize that progress doesn't happen by accident, it happens when you evaluate, learn, and adjust. Think of it like checking your map before heading into the next leg of your journey. Reflection allows you to see whether you're headed in the right direction or need to make changes. When you spend 5 to 10 minutes reviewing your day, you train your mind to notice growth instead of only focusing on mistakes. That awareness alone can fuel your motivation for tomorrow. 2. Planning tomorrow tonight. Here's something game-changing: success starts the night before. When I used to go to bed without a plan, I'd wake up confused, overwhelmed, or easily distracted. But once I started writing down my priorities for the next day, just 3 to 5 tasks, I noticed an immediate difference. Instead of wasting energy deciding what to do in the morning, I woke up with clarity. It felt like giving my future self a gift. Planning ahead reduces stress, sharpens focus, and prevents procrastination. It also gives your brain time to process your tasks overnight, which means you often wake up with new ideas or solutions. Try this: before bed, grab a notebook or use your phone to jot down your top priorities. Keep it realistic. The point isn't to cram everything into one day, it's to set a clear path forward. Trust me, starting tomorrow with a plan will make you feel purposeful instead of lost. 3. Digital detox. Let's be honest, most of us are glued to our screens until the second we fall asleep. But constant scrolling and late-night notifications wreck our focus, sleep quality, and even mental health. I used to think winding down with social media was relaxing, but in reality, it was stealing my energy and feeding me stress. The endless comparisons, negative news, and bright screens left me feeling restless and drained. That's when I set a rule: at least 1 hour before bed, no screens. Instead, I'd read, journal, or just sit in silence. The difference was unbelievable. My sleep improved, my mind calmed down, and I actually felt present in the moment. If an hour feels too long, start small. Try 15 minutes without your phone before bed. Replace it with something simple, like stretching, listening to calming music, or having a real conversation with your loved ones. Your evenings should recharge you, not drain you. Putting the phone down is one of the fastest ways to reclaim peace at night. 4. Gratitude practice. Here's a secret: gratitude isn't just about being positive. It's about rewiring your brain to notice the good, even in difficult seasons. Every evening, I started writing down 3 things I was grateful for. Sometimes it was big, like a breakthrough at work. Other times it was small, like a warm meal or a funny conversation. This habit shifted my mindset from lack to abundance. Instead of going to bed thinking about what I didn't have, I started falling asleep with appreciation for what I did. Science even backs this up. Studies show gratitude reduces stress, improves sleep, and increases overall happiness. If you feel like life is meaningless or repetitive, gratitude helps you see the small victories that often go unnoticed. And when you focus on what's going right, you gain the motivation to keep moving forward. So, before you go to bed tonight, pause and ask yourself, what am I thankful for today? 5. Letting go of stress. Carrying the weight of the day into the night is one of the fastest ways to burn out. I used to lie awake replaying stressful conversations, unfinished tasks, or worries about the future. But then I learned the power of letting go before bed. For me, that looked like writing down my worries on paper. I'd list everything on my mind, then close the notebook as a way of saying, I've acknowledged this. I'll deal with it tomorrow. But tonight, I rest. Some people do this through meditation, prayer, or deep breathing exercises. The method doesn't matter as much as the act of release. Think of it like unpacking a heavy bag before sleep. You can't rest well if you're carrying all that weight. Once I made this a nightly ritual, I started waking up with more energy, because my mind wasn't stuck running circles all night. 6. Connecting with loved ones. One habit that changed my evenings completely was making intentional time for relationships. For years, I thought productivity was about work alone, but real fulfillment comes from human connection. Now, instead of scrolling my phone, I spend time with the people who matter, whether that's a quick phone call to family, having dinner without distractions, or simply talking with a friend. Strong relationships fuel our sense of purpose. When you share laughs, meaningful conversations, or even just quiet company, you remind yourself why you're working so hard in the first place. This habit not only improves your mood but also strengthens bonds that support you during tough times. So if your evenings feel empty, ask yourself, when was the last time you truly connected with someone you care about? Sometimes, the simplest moments of connection bring the deepest motivation. 7. Reading or learning something new. One of the most rewarding changes I made was ending my evenings with growth. Instead of numbing my brain with endless entertainment, I started reading, listening to podcasts, or studying topics I cared about. Even just 20 minutes of learning before bed expanded my thinking and gave me a sense of progress. Whether it was a book on psychology, a podcast about history, or articles on self-improvement, I felt like I was investing in myself. This habit reminded me that growth doesn't always come in big leaps, it happens in small, consistent steps. Over time, those steps compound into real knowledge and confidence. When you make learning part of your evening, you go to bed feeling productive instead of drained. And you wake up more curious, engaged, and ready for the day. 8. Prioritizing rest. Finally, the most overlooked habit, rest. For years, I wore exhaustion like a badge of honor, thinking the less I slept, the more productive I was. But the truth? Lack of rest kills focus, motivation, and purpose. Strong evenings end with intentional rest. That means setting a regular bedtime, creating a calming environment, and protecting your sleep like it's non-negotiable. For me, that meant turning my room into a restful space, dimming the lights, keeping it cool, and sticking to a consistent sleep schedule. Once I started valuing sleep, I had more energy, better focus, and a clearer sense of purpose during the day. Rest isn't wasted time, it's fuel. Without it, you're running on empty. If you want more drive in life, start by giving your body and mind the rest they deserve. So there you have it, 8 evening habits that helped me move from feeling lost and unmotivated to living with more purpose and drive. Notice how none of these habits require huge effort, they're small, intentional choices that stack up over time. And when practiced consistently, they completely reshape your evenings, your mornings, and eventually your life. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these evening habits do you already practice, and which one do you want to try tonight? Share your thoughts in the comments, I'd love to hear your experiences. And if this video gave you value, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, so you don't miss more videos on self-growth and psychology. Thanks for watching, and remember, the way you spend your nights shapes the way you live your days.